Hi, this is Joe,
And this is Zach.
and we're back with podcast number one for the formative assessment number two. And our main focus in this podcast is going to be talking about how epidemics in the world affect countries' populations. In specific, we'll be talking about
Yeah,
Ebola.
yeah, and how just plagues in general and like diseases that are spread in like mass quantities affect the population.
Yeah. So in Sierra Leone, Liberia, Guinea, and Western Africa, a huge outbreak of Ebola occurred in 2014, and this killed 12,000 people, and it pretty much closed schools for several months in most of these parts. So this just lowered how they could progress as a society, and so these outbreaks can make huge effects on populations.
Yeah, and it's just like the fact that like Ebola really destroyed like Sierra Leone and like Liberia, and it's spreading into Guinea, and just it's kind of moving more central into Africa, and how it's just affecting not only the population of Sierra Leone where it's like where it originated, but how it's
Mhm.
spreading out, and it's like they say a lot of people are struggling because a lot of younger kids, their parents are dying and their caretakers are dying, and so not only does it affect like the overall population, but like if we look down to it like under a microscope, how it affects like the living conditions, and even like we could even bring it into like child mortality rates and like
Mhm.
infant mortality, just because they either die from the disease, or they have unhealthy mothers where they can't really get like
Taken care
the
of
food
and.
they need or the
Mhm.
care they need, just because of like no one can
Yeah.
take care of them because they're
Yeah.
either
Mhm.
gone or they're too sick to even like do anything.
Yes, this is just one example of how a huge disease can affect multiple countries in a huge way. But another one dates back to the 1347 when the Great Plague, otherwise known as the Black Plague, killed over 75 million people, and that's once again that's a huge, because back in that time there weren't many people to begin with, so that killed a huge portion of the population that could have wiped out all of
I mean,
humans in
yeah, like
general.
yeah, I mean
So,
the thing is like Ebola's not in number wise, it's not really like if we think about it like in proportion to the total population of the world, it's not even close to like how devastating that
yeah,
was.
yeah.
But we still see how like even like with modern like medicine and science and everything, like it can still
one
be like
yeah, one disease could just destroy a population, and
oh yeah,
so we need
especially
to
back
prevent
then
that from
since like
happening.
Europe was kind of like Europe
Hmm.
and Asia, but like over in the East was kind of like the center of the world, and so like to have that many people wiped out in that area,
During that time,
whereas
yeah,
like
it's big
yeah,
impacts.
more like Africa right now is not the most populated place, but it's has the fastest growing population,
Yeah.
and like like women over there are having like on average like 6 to 7 children, where Ebola affects them, like if a mother dies of 6 or 7 children, like that can really decrease, or before they can even have that many
Yeah.
children, that really decreases the population like
Hmm.
in the long run.
I think that might conclude our podcast number one for formative number two.